afternoon and welcome to West Aurora High School. And for the first time in the spring schedule, we actually made it outdoors. After 4 straight cancellations, we're finally getting a game in here, and it's the girls softball team taking on Neuqua Valley. Good afternoon. Alongside Mike Napolitano, I am Aaron Schellen. And Mike, we got the sun out, man. We haven't seen the sun in, 2 weeks?
Yeah, we do. And you mentioned 4 cancellations for us. Well, it was 9 for these ladies taking the field today as the Blackhawks are set to take on Neuqua Valley. And it's really nice weather apart from a little bit of chill, but no wind and sunshine like you mentioned.
Yeah, no wind. Temperatures in the upper 40s, but the sun's out right now. We got mostly clear skies, so it feels kind of nice here for a change. I don't mind standing outside in this. Blackhawks are only playing their 4th game of the season with all those rainouts. However, 3 wins in their first 3 games, so a good start for the Blackhawks. And they're starting today a freshman making her varsity debut on the mound. Allie Lambert will get the start on the, I guess you can't call it the hill, in the circle for the Blackhawks, and they're taking on Neuqua Valley, and this is how the Wildcat lineup will shape out for Neuqua Valley. Batting leadoff in center field is Nadia Casanova. She's getting ready to come to bat right here. Batting second, playing second, Jamie Heitman. Batting third in right field, Tegan Spellerberg. The cleanup hitter is Madison Wagner, playing left as Casanova squares to bunt right off the bat. Not a bad idea against that freshman pitcher. Maybe try to rattle her a little bit. Batting fifth is the catcher, Krista Waldusky. Batting 6th is the first baseman, Ashley Pope. Playing first base, Nalia Clifford batting 7th, playing 3rd. Kate Scardina hits 8th, is the designated player. And there's another ball, ball 2 here against the leadoff hitter, Nadia Casanova. Then Trista Werner will bat 9th and play shortstop. Ava Drays is the starter today for Neuqua Valley. The 2-0 pitch coming to Casanova is upstairs, 3-0. After this first batter, we will give you a look at the West Aurora defense.
We're seeing bunt once more as she pulls back that time, and that's a strike that's in there.
Yeah, take pitches until you get one that you like, right? Take pitches until you get one that's over the heart of the plate, and the count's now 3-1. And this score bug that we're using, a little bit buggy, so we'll do our best to make it work operationally here for you. But it's 3-1, 3-2 now, as Allie Lambert has come back from that 3-0 deficit to even the count, square the count here at 3-2.
You know, she's pulled back the bunt on all 5 pitches, 3 of them because they were out of the zone.
Ground ball here to the shortstop, Sarah Tarr. Scoops, fires, throws, and safe at first is Casanova. Not a hard hit ground ball. Sarah did everything she could to get to that. But Casanova's going to pick up a infield single here to kick off the bottom of the top of the first.
Yeah, just beat that throw by a step. She has that a little bit of a lefty advantage coming from the box, but you still got to turn around. That was why she was trying to drag bunt on most of those. Sometimes in the early innings, you try to see what the defense will do if you lay down that bunt and get to know how that infield will react, but no bunt here. Oh, no, we do see a bunt.
The bunt attempt and the throw down to second, but there was nobody covering, so Casanova will steal second base on the strike attempt. And we talked about Allie Lambert making her debut on the mound here for West Aurora. They also have a freshman catcher out there as well today, and Macy Spenny. So freshman catcher, freshman pitcher making their debuts for the Blackhawks here. Squares to bunt, takes a strike, 0-2 now on Heitman. Throw down to third, and a bit of a delayed steal there by Casanova, so she's at third now with nobody out.
Yeah, Neuqua Valley taking advantage of some miscommunication in this infield here with that freshman catcher, as you mentioned, and this right side of the diamond here, well, our right side, the left side, as she steals third after hesitating. The throw goes back to the pitcher, and then she takes the bag.
0-2 pitches away for a ball, 1-2 now on Heitman. Nice day here at West. Talked about the sun coming out here a little bit, which is nice to see. The 1-2 now downstairs, 2-2.
Yeah, a little bit of wind coming in from center field here. As the sun sets in the west, that means it's coming in from the east. So I'm trying to cover my microphone here so you don't get too much wind in your ears.
There's a little takes a little bit off that with the off-speed pitch. It's upstairs. Count's gone full. 3-2 now on Heitman. Nadia Casanova, leadoff hitter, infield single, stole second, stole third on a delay. She's there now. Full count pitch here on Heitman is slapped over the head of Sarah Tarr into left field, scooped up by Kiara Hayton. And Jamie Heitman will pick up an RBI single here in the first inning to give Neuqua Valley a 1-0 lead. Good piece of hitting. Just lofted over the head of the shortstop into left field. 1-0.
And we can't ignore the great early base running, getting a jump on this infield quick to get yourself in scoring position, and that's a part of the reason that Neuqua Valley gets that first run.
And you hear that wind, and the ball's popped straight up out of play. 0-1 here on Tegan Spellerberg, the right fielder. We'll take a look at the West Aurora defense here on the infield. Third to first, Bianca Juarez at third, Sarah Tarr at short, Bella Marzullo over at second, and Ionica Rivera at first base as that pitch is lofted to left, and on it comes the left fielder Hayton. Kiara is there, squeezes the glove, 1 away. So the aforementioned Kiara Hayton out in left field, squeezing the glove, making the first out of the inning here for West Aurora. Her outfield teammates out in center field, Gracie Del Toro gets the start for Mia Malchak, who's out today, and then Caitlin Seraphin out in right field for West, and then Macy Spenny, the freshman, getting the start behind home plate. The runner at first now with 1 away, and Madison Wagner steps in. It's 1-0 on Wagner. She hits it the other way down the right field line. That'll land just foul. So the count goes to 1-1 on the cleanup hitter.
Middle infield cheating a little bit to look out for that steal attempt again, so not able to cover that line, but luckily it just landed foul.
Yeah, pinch over a little bit, maybe try to get a double play, if not, try to catch that runner stealing. 1-1 is hit over the head of the second baseman. In comes Seraphin. Caitlin's not able to make the catch. Throw over to Sarah Tarr, though, and they're able to force the runner at second base on the 9-6 fielder's choice. And nothing Heitman could really do about that, as she had to wait for that ball to land, and landed on the ground, and Seraphin was able to throw her out. It's 2 away.
You know, we talked about that wind coming in. I don't know if that was so much of wind or just a little bit of a duck snort to center. This one's coming by us, Aaron.
Coming our way. We haven't had a ball hit us in 3 years.
Oh, don't be saying that now.
Game one, we get one that lands about 15 feet to our right.
But one day I didn't bring my mitt.
That's right. I mean, right field here, I mean, you talked about the sun setting behind us in the west. Right field is most definitely the sun field here at West Aurora. So it's not an easy play, and you can see that ball through the legs of the catcher Spenny, and into second goes Wagner on the pass ball. You can see Caitlin out there in right field holding that glove up in front of her face on basically every pitch. So it's hard for her to see out there for sure. 1-1 the count. Downstairs 2-1.
Runner on second taking an egregious lead.
Egregious. That's a good word.
They're looking to run on this freshman pairing here.
Yeah, trying to get that bit bigger lead, so it's a little bit easier to score on a base hit just like that. Hitting third is Wagner. She'll be held up. Strong throw to the plate. It gets away, though, and down to second goes Waldusky on the throw. So a good arm from Del Toro out in center to keep Wagner from scoring, but on the throw, down to second goes Waldusky. So runners on second and third now with 2 outs for the Wildcats.
We're going to have an infield meeting in the circle here to discuss the strategy to get this final out here.
This will be the number 6 hitter, Ashley Pope, the first baseman.
2 runners in scoring position, but 2 outs as we reset here.
Left-handed hitting Pope has 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs here, top of the first. 1-0 Neuqua Valley with the lead. First pitch fastball is ball, I guess. The angle we're at, it's a little bit hard to tell inside and out, so pitch must have been inside or outside. That one's downstairs, 2-0.
As you can hear, wind's starting to pick up a little more now.
It certainly is. That's okay, though. At least we're outside and the sun's up. Sun's out. Pitch really high to Pope, 3-0.
We spoke to Neil Ortman before the game, and the field conditions are pretty good. This outfield not able to really tell if there's any mushy spots from any rain. But
fastball's outside, so it's a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded here in the first for Neuqua Valley. Yeah, they put a lot of, the stay dry down in the outfield. The infield looks in decent shape, honestly.
Don't know if that'll affect play too much here today.
So this is Nalia Clifford, the third baseman. She grounds it to Tar at short. Tar underhands it to Bianca Juarez to retire the side. So Neuqua Valley strands the bases loaded here in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Neuqua Valley 1, Blackhawks coming up. Bottom of the first inning, Neuqua Valley scored a run in the top of the first inning. Blackhawks will come to bat here bottom of the first, and this is the lineup that the Blackhawks will send out there here this afternoon. Batting leadoff, playing left field will be Kiara Hayton. Batting second, playing center, Gracie Del Toro. Hitting third, playing short, Sarah Tarr. The cleanup hitter is the right fielder, Caitlin Serafin. Batting fifth is the first baseman, Ionica Rivera. Batting sixth is the designated player, Diana Vargas. Hitting seventh and playing third base, Bianca Juarez. Hitting eighth, playing second, Bella Marzullo. And batting ninth, the catcher, Macy Spenny, against Neuqua Valley starter, Ava Drays.
Neuqua Valley infield well in here. We haven't seen a drag bunt attempt until that moment from the Blackhawks leadoff hitter, just like Neuqua Valley's in the first, but this infield knew to be in, and that bunt was coming.
1-2 here on Kiara Hayton. Pitch upstairs, 2-2. Caitlin's got that run up, which you see that run up batting style that you see so much in the sport of softball, where she starts by the back of the batter's box and runs forward and tries to slap that ball to the left side, and does it there, but over into the Blackhawks dugout. Two and two now on Hayton. She grounds it too short. Throw over to first, and Hayton is out on the 6-3 put-out, one away here in the first inning. And here is the starting defense for Neuqua Valley on the infield. Nalia Clifford at third, Trista Werner at short, Jamie Heitman at second, Ashley Pape at first base. In the outfield, left-right, Madison Wagner, Nadia Casanova, and Tegan Spellerberg out in right field. Krista Wardusky is the catcher, and she's catching Ava Drays. And this is Gracie Del Toro, the number 2 hitter and center fielder for the Blackhawks. Pitch is in there for a strike quickly, 0-2 here on Del Toro. The Blackhawks scored a lot of runs in their first 3 games, over 10 runs a game in their first 3, and Del Toro was quickly down on the high strikeout.
Another run-in style there from the second lefty we've seen in this Blackhawks lineup. We're finally going to get a righty here. With the fastballs being thrown here by Ava Drays, you would think you'd want to maybe weight back on it a little bit more.
Here's Sarah Tarr. Sarah takes the first pitch downstairs for a ball. 1-0 on the Blackhawks shortstop. Downstairs again, 2-0. Blackhawks down 1-0, bottom of the first. Allie Lambert making her varsity debut, just a freshman, getting the start here today. Sarah hits it the other way down the first base line, foul.
Outfield pretty much normal. Infield back to normal for the number 3 hitter.
Number 3, Sarah Tarr. Hard ground ball, eats up the second baseman, Heitman, and Sarah will beat that out. An infield single for the Blackhawks. They have a 2-out base runner. Hard ground ball off the bat of Sarah Tarr.
Yeah, that one looked like it just hit the heel of the glove there on Jamie Heitman and popped up. Kept it in front of her, though. Did a good job to keep that in the infield, but a runner with 2 outs, as you mentioned, and here is the 4 hitter for the Blackhawks, number 14.
It's Caitlin Seraphin, the right fielder. First pitch in there for a strike. 0-1 on Caitlin. There goes Tarr. Seraphin hits a bomb to left, back, and gone. Caitlin Seraphin with one swing of the bat gives the Blackhawks a 2-1 lead with a home run to left with 2 outs here in the first inning. Caitlin unloaded on that pitch to left, and the Blackhawks take the lead here, bottom of the first. I talked about their offense and how they'd put up a bunch of runs in their first 3 games. Well, it took them a couple of batters here, Mike, but single from Tarr, 2-run homer from Seraphin, and the Blackhawks have the lead.
She went into that at bat knowing what she wanted to see, and she saw it on that first pitch there, and over the fence it goes. We have a whole new ball game here.
Yep, this is Ionica Rivera stepping in off the fist foul to Ionica, 0-1. Rivera, the first baseman for the Blackhawks. Blackhawks with the lead. Fastball at the knees called strike 2. Wind picking up here on the 0-2 pitch to Rivera. Hard ground ball in the hole, scooped by Werner across the diamond in time to retire Ionica Rivera, and that will retire the Blackhawks here in the first. But the 2-run homer from Caitlin Seraphin has given the West Aurora a 2-1 lead as we go to the second. Top of the second, Blackhawks with a 2-1 lead. Allie Lambert back out there for her second inning of work, and she'll face Kate Scardina here, the designated player. Number 17 in gold for Neuqua Valley. First pitch is a fastball for a strike, 0-1, and that's what you like to see from the freshman pitcher, right? Making her first start here on varsity. Her team gives her a couple of runs, and she comes right out in the second inning and throws a strike. Fouled back, 0-2, and she's quickly ahead of the number 8 hitter, 0-2.
Yeah, strong outing would be 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio for a freshman here. Whether those are actual strikes or like there, she's getting Neuqua Valley to foul that off, whether it's in the zone. But just getting them to chase around that zone, but not afraid of going to that fastball right up the middle either, being confident enough to pitch to them.
Yeah, and like in whether it's high school softball or whether it's pro baseball or anything in between, when your team gives you offense as a pitcher, you want to go out there and you want to put up zeros. You want to put up a zero in that next inning and give your team a chance to expand the lead. So 1-2 now the count on Scardina. Downstairs 2-2. So Allie Lambert in that first inning gave up a couple of hits and a run. She walked one. Retire the leadoff batter here in the second. Fouled at the plate. Scardina stays alive at 2-2. 2-2 pitch grounded hard to the third baseman Juarez. Bianca has it, throws it over to first, and way to stay with that. Bianca Juarez throwing out Scardina. That ball was hit hard off the bat, Mike, but Bianca stayed with it, kept the ball in front of her, threw it across the diamond, one away here in the second.
Yeah, not sure if that took an odd hop, but it came more to her right leg than directly in front of her in the middle, how you'd want to ground it, which actually had her topple over just to kind of deaden the ball, but got back up and made the throw in time.
First pitch swinging, hit out to right field. Trista Werner hits it to Seraphin, and Caitlin is there to retire Werner for the second out here in the second. And we talked about this. This is exactly what you wanted to see if you are Allie Lambert, is a couple of quick outs here in the second inning, and that'll send us back up to the top of the order, and Nadia Casanova. She had an infield single in the first, stole second, had a delayed steal of third, and then came in on a single, and she runs up again and pitches upstairs for a ball.
She's looking at that bunt attempt again. At this point, not really sure if it's to see what the defense is going to do to react to that. It might actually be to try to drag bunt that with her.
Yeah, and that's what she's trying to do, is she fouls that one down at home plate, 1-1. So you get that head start out of the batter's box and try to pull that ball between the pitcher and the second baseman. But you can see the entire West Aurora defense, the infield, is all a handful of steps in, as the count is now 1-2. Sarah Tarr is in beyond the second base and third base bag. She takes a step back here, but everybody else is up right around Allie Lambert on the mound. Grounded to Tarr. Sarah has it, throws it to first, and a really solid 1-2-3 second inning for Allie Lambert as she sets Neuqua Valley down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. Go to the bottom of the second. Blackhawks 2, Neuqua Valley 1. Bottom two here at West Aurora High School. Blackhawks up 2-1, bottom of the second. It'll be Diana Vargas, Bianca Juarez, and Bella Marzullo here in inning number 2 against Ava Drays, who gave up a couple of hits and a home run to Caitlin Seraphin in the first inning. First pitch fastball to Vargas is a strike and 0-1.
That one came in about letter high, but with a lot of speed. Takes a look at first pitch there.
Another fastball. That one's at the knees. Looked a little low from our angle. We can tell we get a good view of the height of the pitch from where we're standing down the third base line. Fouled off the plate by Vargas. That 0-1 pitch looked a little below the knees. It was called a strike. So Diana has to protect that plate a little bit here. Down 0-2. Ground ball to the right side. Heitman has it over to first, and Vargas is the first out here in inning number 2 for West Aurora.
Routine grounder there. We did get a good look at that infield. As we said before, not a whole lot of that previous rain and snow weather that we've had affecting it. So
you can definitely see some damper dirt in there, right? You can see a little bit of the darker dirt in there, but the field's not in terrible shape. I know the grounds crew were out in full force today, taking care of both the softball field and the JV and varsity fields, which are behind us, as Juarez is down in the count 0-2. Both boys JV and varsity baseball taking place today as well. So we got 3 games going on right now, and the grounds crew did a nice job getting all three fields game ready for 4:30, as all 3 games have taken off. Again, we haven't walked around on the outfield, but it doesn't look terrible. The infield looks okay considering the amount of rain we've had over the last week.
yeah, and a little bit of wetness. You like that because it kind of softens up this dirt.
Popped up on the infield. First baseman Pape is there, and she'll make the catch in fair territory. Second out here in inning number 2, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Bella Marzullo. 2 outs, nobody on. Blackhawks with a 2-1 lead here, bottom 2. Courtesy of a Caitlin Seraphin 2-run homer to left in inning number 1. First pitch fastball is away, and Drays, she can bring the heat. That pitch coming in strong, and she's been leaning heavily on this fastball. That one's at the knees for a strike. Haven't seen many off-speed pitches from her yet. Haven't seen that changeup. Usually you'll only see a couple pitches. You'll see the fastball, and then you'll see the changeup. Not a lot of those changeups. This has basically been smoke from Drays for an inning and a half here.
Yeah, and you and I had talked about before the game how in softball you don't have a deep pitching crew on either side. Not really a bullpen. That one's fouled off to the first base side, but so you really rely on your pitcher to go the distance in most of these games, and throwing heat like that, it's going to put the pressure on West Aurora to have a lot of quality at-bats and really get to her early on.
Yeah, and if you can get that fastball over early and get a lot of quick outs early in the count, early in the game, it makes it easier to go the full 7 when you haven't thrown, 80, 90, 100 pitches. As here's a ground ball to Heitman. And there's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Neuqua Valley here in the second. We're through 2-1. Blackhawks with the lead. top three. Neuqua Valley will send up 2-3-4 against the freshman Allie Lambert. Jamie Heitman, Tegan Spellerberg, and Madison Wagner for Neuqua Valley. Heitman singled in the first. It was an off-speed pitch taken upstairs for a ball to Heitman, 1-0. First inning was a bit hectic for Lambert. She gave a couple of hits, walked a batter, was able to work around a couple of bad defensive throws by West Aurora. Only gave up the 1 run, and then her offense gave her 2 in the bottom half of the inning. Looked much sharper in the second, setting down 8-9-1. A couple of ground balls and a pop out to right. She's behind Heitman 2-0 here. Ground ball to the right side. Marzullo over to first, and that's 5 in a row now retired from Allie Lambert. 1 away here in the third. Seems to have settled down a little bit. Like, you expect there to be some of those freshman nerves, right? Playing your first varsity game, you're on the mound at home. There's got to be some nerves in that first inning, but so far here through inning 2 and 3, she's looked a whole lot sharper.
Yeah, we talked about that confidence to actually pepper the zone, and she showed that last inning.
That ball's hit to center. Back on it goes Del Toro, and Gracie, shy of the track, makes the catch on Spellerberg. 2 away here. That ball hit on a line out to center field, but tracked down nicely by Gracie Del Toro. She makes the catch, 2 away.
And just as I was bringing up that point, where I was going with that is she is not afraid to go to the zone because she trusts this defense, and they have gotten the job done for her the last 6 times in a row.
6 straight outs retired by Lambert. First pitch rolled up there to Madison Wagner, 1-0. Madison flew out to the left fielder Hayton in the first inning. 2 away in the third. Blackhawks with a 2-1 lead. Caitlin Seraphin, a 2-run homer to left in the first, accounts for all the Blackhawks offense. 1-0. Upstairs, 2-0.
Infield back just a hair.
Yes, Saratar playing deep at short. She's got a strong arm over there. It allows you to do that. Ground ball to the third baseman under the glove of Bianca Juarez into left field. That's got to go down as a base hit. I'm going to mark it as a base hit. They don't put hits and errors up on the scoreboard here. I'm putting that down as a base hit. That ball was hit hard. Nothing Bianca Juarez could do about that. So a 2-out single for Neuqua Valley will bring up Krista Waldusky. You agree with my scoring?
Oh, yeah, that's very fair. I mean, that pulled her away from the bag a little bit, and that's really just kind of in between the third baseman and shortstop gap there with the speed of that hit ball.
This one's hit our way. I think that caught the right foot of the Neuqua Valley third base coach. You see Lambert not throwing particularly hard. It's definitely a different style of pitching than what we're seeing from Ava Drays, who's fastball after fastball after fastball. You talked about Allie trusting her defense here. That ball's not coming over with quite the same oomph from the freshman, but she's getting the job done. They don't ask how, they just ask how many, right?
You know, it's funny you bring that up, Aaron, because I did kind of notice the difference in pitching here. You know, it's a tale of two cities almost, and when you have Neuqua Valley up there, Ava Drays pitching.
Line drive to left, one hopper in front of Kiera Hayton. So a couple of singles here with 2 outs in the third inning for Neuqua Valley. Gives them runners at first and second now with 2 outs, and Ashley Pape, the first baseman, will step in. Finish.
You have Ava Drays pitching heat, and that's mainly what took that ball over the wall. Nothing taking away from the hitter there, but you know, you can just have really good hitting, swinging mechanics to take that velocity of a pitch out of the park here, and Neuqua Valley isn't really going to get that chance. They're going to have to put a lot more power into some of these pitches because it's not coming in as fast.
We have a pinch runner over at first base. I'm waiting for this first pitch to come, and I'll give you that information. In there for a strike, that's Stephanie Zacharuski will pinch run here in inning number 3. Count is 2-1 here on Pape.
That one came up high. Wasn't her pitch, but as a lefty, looking to hit behind your runners here. Move them over.
There's a pitch away, 3-1, and there is some action, not really a bullpen, per se, but there was some warming up. We saw behind us, Brooke Roberts was starting to throw some pitches, but now she's over at the cage hitting. And that pitch is away, and now it's 3-1.
Interesting to see if Neuqua Valley gets the green light here with runners at first and second, or if they want to just load the bases.
Pitch is upstairs, and there's your answer, as Pape has come to the plate twice, and she's walked twice. So the bases are now full of Neuqua Valley Wildcats with 2 outs. And Analia Clifford, this is exactly what we saw in the first inning. Clifford came up with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the first. She grounded in to a fielder's choice to end the inning. Blackhawks looking to get out of that jam again here as first pitch is over, first strike, 0-1.
Neuqua Valley not as aggressive on the base path, and certainly not now with the bags jammed, but looking to clear them this time.
Hard hit into center field for a base hit. 1 run comes in. The second runner will hold up the throw over to third, and out at third is Zacharuski as she gets caught off the bag on the 8.65 put out at third base. So Clifford does pick up an RBI single, bringing home Wagner, but the base running error eliminates Zacharuski at third base and retires the side. So we're through 2.5. We're all square at 2. Bottom 3, Neuqua Valley tied the score in their half of the third inning. An RBI single from Nalia Clifford. Inning could have been a whole lot worse if not for the heady defensive play of Gracie Del Toro, Sarah Tarr, and Bianca Juarez to nab Stephanie Zacharuski at third base. This is Macy Spenny, the catcher. She's down in the count, 0-1. Another freshman making her varsity debut today. Downstairs for a ball. Blackhawks have a couple of players at a choir competition, right? Is that what we understand?
Yes. First baseman and center fielder.
So a couple players not in the starting lineup, and that's forced some players to shift around the infield, as I believe Ionica Rivera is normally the team's starting catcher, but she's over at first base today. Downstairs 2-2. Good at bat here from Macy Spenny.
She's done well not to chase the second or fourth pitch. The first one was right in there, just missed it. Chased the third one up high.
And it's held there by the catcher Wardusky, but it's called a ball. So Spenny's done a nice job here. Number 9 hitter, taking 5 pitches, acting as that second leadoff hitter right at the bottom of your lineup.
From this angle, it looked brave to take that pitch.
Popped down the right field line, foul. So I parked my car. I moved when I moved my car away from here. I pulled it over into the parking lot beyond right field, and I parked my car. I got out of. I took about 2 steps away from my car and went. Spenny draws a leadoff walk. So good at bat from the number 9 hitter, the freshman Macy Spenny, to give the Blackhawks a leadoff runner here in the bottom of the third. So yeah, I turned around and looked at where my car was, and it was literally right down the right field line, the first car, and I went, I think I'm going to move it. I moved it behind the bus.
That's a smart choice.
Yeah. Not only is it protected by the right field wall, it's protected by a bus. Someone's got to hit the ball far to hit my car the way it is now.
You've basically got an entire industrial tank in front of your car, protecting it. So, yeah, you're good.
Bottom third, Macy Spenny over at first base, and Kara Hayton stepping in for the Blackhawks. She grounded out to short in the first. Squares to bunt, fouls it back, and 0-1.
Runner was going on that one, obviously at first base, so contact would send her, but maybe a hit and run bunt situation.
Yeah, you don't take you aren't taking a lead like you do in baseball. That foot's got to be securely on the bag until the pitch is thrown. So you try to get that extra step. There's a strike, and off the bag a little bit is Spenny, but she gets back as Hayton's now down in the count, 0-2. And this is where the Blackhawks miss Mia Malchak. She's normally their leadoff hitter and their center fielder, so she's one of those two players not here today, as Hayton will go down on strike. She swings at the high fastball, second strikeout of the game for Dre's, 1 away.
Yeah, that one she caught a piece of, but tipped it straight back into the glove, and it'll be the first out of the inning for the Blackhawks. Still a runner on first, though, and they still have their chances here.
It's Gracie Del Toro. She struck out in the first. Pitches downstairs for a ball.
Infield and outfield are both in again as they see the bunt attempts. Catcher for Neuqua Valley making a couple attempts to threaten to throw down to first, but nothing doing.
Yeah, you can see the Neuqua Valley infield almost charging in every time Gracie attempts to, she squares to bunt. She's up in the count here, 2-0 though.
Middle infield straight away, nobody covering second here.
Slapped foul over by the Blackhawks dugout, 2-1. So we got a bit of a break after this game. We don't have anything on the schedule for next week. Mike, you and your dad are going eclipse hunting, right?
We are. I will be in Indianapolis over the weekend for the solar eclipse.
And there's a pitch away, 3-1. So nothing on the books for next week. The last 2 weeks of the month, though, pretty heavy. I think the goal is to get 3 West Aurora games in a week. I know we've got some additional softball, we've got some baseball, we've got some soccer. And, ooh, that's called a strike. That looked like it was around the ankles.
She did not like that call.
Neither did I. 3-2 here on Del Toro. That looked like ball 4 to me. Slapped foul, stays 3-2. So, yeah, the final 2 months of April, we look to get, or last 2 weeks of April, rather, we look to get a handful of games in for you. Weather obviously delayed what we were able to bring you here on Stream Sports Midwest, as there's another ground ball down the third base line, foul. We lost, I think, 3 baseball games and a softball game over the last 2 weeks.
Sounds about right. Maxie Spenny made it all the way to second on that foul ball.
Another foul ball.
Ready to go.
Good battle here between Dre's and Gracie Del Toro, the number 2 hitter. The danger in the Blackhawks lineup is standing in the on-deck circle and in the hole on Sarah Tara and Caitlin Seraphin. Same thing, another ground ball. Right over to Blackhawks third base coach.
Doing what she can to stay alive here. Those last 3 foul balls all looked identical.
And there's ball 4. That's a great at-bat from Gracie Del Toro. That 3-1 pitch probably should have been called ball 4. It wasn't. But she persevered, as they say. The Blackhawks now have runners at first and second with 1 out for Sarah Tarr. Sarah reached on a single in the first, scored ahead of the home run from Caitlin Seraphin.
You know, and I mentioned it earlier in this game briefly, Aaron, those quality at-bats are what are really going to chip away at this pitching staff and, you know, shake the confidence of Neuqua Valley as a whole. And when you've got runners on like this and your top hitter coming up here, that's dangerous.
Tarr smokes it to right. That will split the outfielders. In from third is Spenny. Toro will hit third. She rounds third. Here comes the play at the plate. There is none, and Sarah Tarr with an opposite field 2-run double has given the Blackhawks the lead right back. It's 4-2.
Yeah, she celebrated with the bench there, looked over, gave him a little, I think, knuckles, and then a little bird fly like the Blackhawks, you know, their mascot here. But that one just kind of, the throw made it in time, but it just hung in the dirt in between the legs of, I think that was Neuqua Valley's pitcher, Ava Dre's, that was the cutoff on that instance, and just couldn't pull that one out of the dirt to throw home. Almost would have had to play at the plate.
Aggressive base running by the Blackhawks, but it pays off, and that was a good piece of hitting from Sarah Tarr. We've talked about the stuff from Ava Dre's and how hard she's been able to throw the ball, and Sarah just took it the other way and split the outfielders and hit the ball just short of the wall, but it's a 2-run double for Tar. Blackhawks up 4-2, and this is Caitlin Seraphin, who's up in the count 2-0. Sarah already with a 2-run, or Caitlin already with a 2-run homer. Big cut, comes up empty, 2-1.
Yeah, she looked a little disappointed after that cut, but
yeah, pitch a little low, I think. I think that's probably more the frustration than anything else. That one right there throws it past her, 2-2. 2-2 on Seraphin, the pitch. And she was a little behind that 2-2 fastball. That's strikeout number 3, second out of the inning. And Sarah Tar will remain at second base now with 2 outs. And Ionica Rivera trying to pick up Tar from second with 2 outs. Fastball strike, 0-1.
Ava Dre's looking a little bit more confident now than she did at the start of this inning with those long at-bats. Now she's really going at the zone with her fastball.
Yeah, a couple of good at-bats early on in this inning. Macy Spenny, the number 9 hitter, drew that walk after seeing 5 or 6 pitches. Kiara Hayton struck out, but then Gracie Del Toro really with the I would say the at-bat of the inning. That 8 or 9 pitch at-bat as Sarah Tar will steal third base without a throw.
A little bit of a late slide there. Wasn't sure if the catcher was actually going to pop up and make the play there, but she steals the bag. But yeah, as you mentioned, that at-bat from Spenny, this inning doesn't happen the way it does if that's not for her fighting in there and taking that count deep.
Ball hit to right. Back on it is Spellerberg, and she'll make the catch to retire the Blackhawks here in the third. But a 2-run double from Sarah Tar has given the Blackhawks a 4-2 lead as we head to the fourth. Pitcher for the Blackhawks here as we go to the fourth inning. This is Brooke Roberts coming in. The senior will come in here in the fourth inning. Allie Lambert went the first 3. She gave up 4 hits, a couple of runs. She walked 1. She didn't strike anybody out, but ultimately, Mike, it feels like a good outing, right? Feels like a good outing for the freshman making her varsity debut. Gives the Blackhawks 3 and turns it over to Roberts.
Yeah, got a little taste, you know. She really started to settle down and trust that defense, as we mentioned in the last inning and the inning prior, that second inning. But, you know, just don't want to overwork her. Get her in there, get her confident after that first start. And now you're going to go to a varsity pitcher that's been in this position before.
Yep. Senior Brooke Roberts, she'll face 8-9-1 here for the Wildcats in the fourth. First couple pitches from Brooke are downstairs, so it's 2-0 here quickly in the fourth. This is Kate Scardina. She's 0 for 1. She grounded to third back in inning 2. Grounds to third again. Juarez has it. Across the diamond to Rivera, so 1 up, 1 down here in inning 4.
Yeah, put it to the exact same spot as you mentioned. No cheating necessary off the bag as the throw comes just from the line, basically, and 1 away.
1 away, and the number 9 hitter, Trista Werner. takes the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Warner flew out to Seraphin in the second inning. That sun's still a problem on that right side of the infield and outfield, as Roberts held on to that one a little bit too long. It's 1-1. We're in the fourth. Blackhawks with a 4-2 lead. Popped out of play by the batting cages. 1-2 now. We had a lot of people checking out all the games today. I think it's the sun's out for the first time in like 10 days. Here's another ground ball to Juarez. She has it. And another 5-3 putout. So Bianca Juarez is busy over at third base today. 2 quick outs here in the fourth. But yeah, I think with the sun out, it's a nice Friday afternoon. We got a lot of people at softball game here, and then the 2 baseball games going on behind us. So 2 away here in the fourth inning, in the top of the order in Casanova now.
And we joked the other day, Aaron, I think we were on for girls badminton. We were talking about the groundhog seeing its shadow.
Yeah.
It did not this year, so we were supposed to be out of the woods as far as winter, but we've been having a couple of rainy, cold, even snowy days.
Well, we were out of winter for about a week and a half, right?
That's
it was
true.
70 degrees back in
We got
back at the
teased.
beginning of March.
That was, as they say here in Illinois and suburbs of Chicago, first spring.
First spring, that's
and
right.
you get second winter that comes right after.
Yeah, which is what we're in right now. 3-0 on Casanova, who's been a pest top of this Neuqua Valley lineup. There's the 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. 3-1. Casanova singled, stole a couple of bases, and scored in the first. Grounded out her last time up. Off-speed pitch, bunted foul. Dropped down at home plate.
Yeah, that one just died right there in front of home plate and stayed in the box, so she'll have to go back and resume the at-bat.
We're in the top of the fourth. Blackhawks looking to improve to 4-0 on the season. They've had 9 cancellations and have played 3 games so far. Slapped to tar. Sarah quickly on to first, and that's 3 ground balls to the left side. A 1-2-3 fourth for Brooke Roberts. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Blackhawks still lead by 2. Bottom of the fourth inning, Blackhawks with a 4-2 lead as they look to expand that lead here with Diana Vargas, Bianca Juarez, and Bella Morzullo against Ava Drays. If anybody reaches the number 9 hitter, Macy Spenny. A couple of big hits for the Blackhawks from the 2 players you would expect. A 2-run homer in the first from Caitlin Seraphin. 2-run double from Sarah Tarr in the third. This is a ground ball to Werner. 1 pitch, 1 out. Diana Vargas is retired on the 6-3 ground out in the fourth. You expect your best players to carry you, and that's what's happening for the Blackhawks offensively here so far today. This will be Bianca Juarez. She popped out to first in the first inning, but she's made her mark on the game defensively at third base for the Blackhawks. She's played really, really well over there at the hot corner for West Aurora. She's Got a couple of assists. She has 3 ground balls that she's fielded cleanly. She had that put out at third base on the throw behind the runner to end that second inning. So her impact has definitely been defensively for West Aurora here this afternoon, and the count's 1-1.
Yeah, as you mentioned, making the first 2 outs of the last frame, and then her next door neighbor, the shortstop for the Blackhawks, making that 3rd out. But she has been busy, as you mentioned. It's called the hot corner for a reason, and she has stood the task throughout this entire game.
Yeah, she played well over there at third. She's down in the count 1-2. And Dre's still bringing the heat. Throws that one low, 2-2. We are seeing the Blackhawks go a little bit deeper into some of these counts, though. We weren't seeing a lot of 2-2, 3-2 counts in the first couple of innings. We've seen a handful here in innings 3 and now 4. Called strike 3. That is strikeout number 4 for Dre's. The first looking and the second out here in the 4th inning for West Aurora, and that'll bring up second baseman Bella Morzullo. Bella grounded out to her opposite number back in the second inning. Ground out to second base.
Yeah, Bianca Juarez knew it too, but before she stepped back into the dugout, she gave a couple of pointers to her teammate as she's coming up to bat here. And Morzullo has a little bit of the spark notes going into this at-bat. So you mentioned those longer at-bats. You know, a lot of that is the communication in between batters of what they're seeing up there, so you kind of get an idea before you step into that box.
And we're seeing that low strike called a whole lot by that home plate umpire. That's about the 3rd or 4th time now that he's called a strike. Maybe, and there's another one, right maybe at the knees, maybe a hair or 2 below the knees, but he's at least been consistent with it, so you can't really complain about it. He's been calling it really all afternoon. Popped up, and the spin will take that one over to the Neuqua Valley dugout. Stays 1-2.
Yeah, you talk about the expanding strike zone. That may happen throughout the game, but, you know, it's called both ways, as you mentioned, Aaron, so no arguments to be had from either bench.
Hit down the right field line. That's a fair ball. So that's you used this word earlier in the game, and it's one of my favorite baseball terms. So I didn't say anything when you said it initially, but that is a duck snort down the first base line, and a 2-out single for the Blackhawks as Bella Morzullo will reach first base, and that will bring up Macy Spenny. And Spenny really got that second inning, or that third inning, started for the Blackhawks with a 6-pitch walk leading off the inning out of the number 9 hole.
Yeah, a quality at bat from her. And was that 6 pitches? I know there were 3 foul balls in there.
No, that was Del Toro's at bat, which was a couple later. Macy Spenny led off the second inning, and she drew a 6-pitch walk to start the inning.
Gotcha, yes.
So 1-1. 1-1 with Morzullo down at first.
Yeah, that was the true definition of a duck snort. The one I had earlier was more of a gapper.
Hard ground ball to the second baseman, Heitman, on to first, and the Blackhawks go quietly here in the 4th. They strand a runner at first. We're through 4. Blackhawks doubling up. 4-2 Blackhawks lead. 2-run homer from Caitlin Serafin, 2-run double from Sarah Tarr has accounted for all of the Blackhawks offense. Blackhawks have only stranded one base runner here today. They have 4 hits and a walk. They've scored 4 runs on the other side. 5 stranded base runners for Neuqua Valley, all against starter and freshman Allie Lambert, who made her varsity debut, went the first 3, gave up a couple of runs, and looked okay. Pitched a 1-2-3 second, worked around some trouble in the first and the third. Turned it over to Brooke Roberts in the 4th. Brooke went 1-2-3 in the 4th, and she'll face 2-3-4 here in the 5th. Heitman, Spellerberg, and Wagner. Bunt drops it down in front of the plate, and that throw will not be in time, so Heitman will leg out a bunt single leading off the 5th inning.
Yeah, it's a beautifully executed bunt that died right where it needed to, in between the catcher and the pitcher. Nobody could get to that one, and she gets the first.
Well, I think that we talked about the damp ground with all the rain we've had. And here's a steal attempt to throw down to second, and that gets through, but into second safely is Heitman. If this game was being played in July, that bunt maybe finds its way right to the right to the pitcher, Brooke Roberts, but it really deadened in front of home plate.
Yeah, that throw down to second may have actually beat the runner, but wasn't in the spot for the fielder to get that in the mitt and place the tag, so sneaks into the outfield. And runner on second after the steal. No outs here. We had a little bit of a delay before this inning. The umpire had lost one of the game balls in the dugout. It got mixed in with the regular dugout batch of balls.
Pitch is in the dirt. I'm waiting on the count. There's nothing up on the scoreboard. I'm going to say I believe it's 2-0. There was a pitch that allowed the runner to steal second base, but they didn't update it on the scoreboard yet, so... Ball's popped to left. In on it comes the left fielder, Hayton. She's not able to make the catch, and into second. That's good base running from Tegan Spellerberg as she finds her way into second base. And a nice diving attempt out and left by Hayton. McCara comes up short, and Neuqua Valley threatening here in inning number 5.
Yeah, she identified that the ball was dropping, so she had her hit, but not only that, the shortstop, Sarah Tarr, was turned focused at the lead runner, so she was able to sneak into second base there.
In the dirt for a ball to Wagner, 1-0. Yeah, if she was facing second base when she fields that ball, she's probably able to throw out Spellerberger at second, but you're right, she had her back to second. She was looking over at third base. Ball's hit down the left field line. It's going to land in front of Hayton. They'll score 1, and caught off second, and out at second base is Spellerberg. So for a second time here today, the Neuqua Valley Wildcats are out on the bases on the 9-5-6 putout here, and Neuqua Valley picks up a run, but they are making outs on the bases.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Spellerberg because she has to be aware of the runner ahead of her. That runner was scoring after that ball was dropped in the outfield. I don't want to say dropped, let drop in front of her in the outfield, and then they had to make the decision, do I go to third with it being so close?
Pop down the right field line, over and making the catch in foul territory is Ionica Rivera, 2 away. But, I mean, that ball's in front of you, Mike, right? Like that, you can see that ball the entire way if you are Spellerberg. So you got to know where that ball is, and getting caught off second base. You lose your head, lose your place on the field a little bit, but when that ball's in front of you, there's really no reason to get caught off the bag like that.
Yeah, you talk about coaches saying go halfway if you see it's popped up, but in that situation, once you realize that that's dropping, you have a good chance of making it into third with a dive or head back to second if you're completely unsure.
Yeah, the problem with going halfway here is that the field's not that big. So if you go halfway, you're going to get caught off the bag in a lot of cases. And in that particular case, Spellerberg didn't even get halfway off the bag. She was about a third of the way towards third base, and that was still enough for the Blackhawks to tag her out at second, as the count's now 3-0 here on Pape, who doesn't have an official at bat. She's been up twice. She's walked twice. Both walks, those were issued by Lambert. Let's see if she's going to draw her third walk of the game, and she is. So she's holding that bat on her shoulder, and she's been on base 3 times now.
Well, there's 2 things that you can't defend in softball, Aaron, and that's walks and home runs. And walks can hurt you just as bad as balls hit over the fence, and we've seen both here today. Let's see if this manufactures into something for Neuqua Valley.
This is Nalia Clifford, who's come up with people on base all day long, and she comes through again. This is a base hit to right. In from second is Wagner with the game tying run. Clifford with another RBI. Over to third goes Pape, and we're all tied at 4. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. And Kate Scardina will step in.
That was just some nice solid contact, moving your runners over. Everybody on the base paths was aware of that point.
Lofted to left, and that'll land foul in front of Kiara Hayton, 0-1. So it's every other inning for Neuqua Valley here today. The first inning they scored a run, the third inning they scored a run, the fifth inning they've scored 2. The second and fourth they went 1, 2, 3 in each inning. But we're now square at 4 in the top of the 5th. In the dirt, 1-1.
We may be tied here, but West Aurora has been on pretty much every inning here. So if you're Neuqua Valley, you don't want this every other. You got to become ready to play every inning here.
And the Blackhawks do have the top of their order up in the bottom of the 5th. 1-1. Downstairs, blocked in the dirt by Spenny, 2-1. There's a strike at the knees, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 5th. We're tied at 4. 2-run 5th inning here for Neuqua Valley. Runner at third is Ashley Pape. Runner at first, Nalia Clifford. Fouled at the plate. Roberts is set. She comes home, grounded foul, hooked down past the West Aurora dugout.
Nalia Clifford making it all the way to second base on that foul ball, but as you mentioned, number 9, Ashley Pape, standing here in front of us on third, has not moved off the bag.
And no reason for her to, really, as this one's hit high in the air, deep to left. Hayton is in the corner, and that one lands in the corner, foul. Yeah, no reason for Ashley Pape to move off that third base bag. If there's a base hit to the outfield, she's going to be off with contact. She should score pretty easily, so no reason to get yourself hung up anywhere. Here comes the 2-2. Up and in, and stealing second without a throw is Nalia Clifford, and more good base running by Neuqua Valley. Clifford takes off, no throw from Spenny, so Pape stays at third base.
I almost expected that steal to come sooner in the at-bat, because a throw down to second almost guarantees Pape getting home on a steal from third, but they waited and decided to see what was going to go on in that at-bat. We do have a walk, though, so bases are loaded regardless.
Yep, Scardino walks. That'll load the bases. Pape at third, Clifford at second, Scardina at first, and Trista Werner will step in. Werner's 0 for 2, takes the first pitch upstairs for a ball. 1-0. Werner flew out to right in the second, grounded to third in the third. Grounds it to third again. Juarez has it across the diamond, and once again, Neuqua Valley stranding base runners all over the diamond. That's 8 through 5, but they do score 2, tie it. We head to the bottom of the 5th, knotted at 4. fifth, and once again, Neuqua Valley has tied the score. They took a 1-0 lead after half an inning. Blackhawks scored 2 in the bottom of the first, take a 2-1 lead. Neuqua Valley would tie it in their half of the third. West would score 2 in their half of the third to take a 4-2 lead. Top of the fifth, Neuqua Valley scores 2 to tie it, and if all holds true, the Blackhawks should score a couple runs here in the fifth. Retake the lead. We'll see what happens. It'll be Kiara Hayton, Gracie Del Toro, Sarah Tarr leading off the inning, and the first pitch is fouled back by Kiara, 0-1. She's 0 for 2, ground out and a strikeout.
Neuqua Valley's outfield in a strange formation here. You've got the right fielder basically set standard. That's fouled back behind the plate. You've got your center fielder just a couple yards away now, backing up to about standard from the infield.
But shifted way over towards left.
Yes.
This one's hit over our head, foul. And the Blackhawks haven't shown, that, other than that one swing from Seraphin, the home run to left, they haven't shown that they've been able to get around on this fastball from Dreys. So they're setting up their defense accordingly. They're swung over, expecting the Blackhawks hitters to hit the ball the opposite way.
I believe we are looking for a game ball here as we get one now.
Out of baseballs. We now have one back on the field.
And the left fielder, just to complete that outfield, about normal, but as you mentioned, that shift, these two, center fielder and left fielder, look a little bit closer than they are supposed to be. Wind has picked up, as we were mentioning in between innings there. It's still coming in from the center field.
And that's another reason they're shifted towards left, because that's the way the wind's blowing. And that's called strike 3 right at the knees. And that's been a strike all afternoon long. So no surprise here, one away as Hayton goes down looking. Strikeout number 5 for Dreys, and that'll bring up Gracie Del Toro. And it was Del Toro, Mike, in that third inning, who really had the best at bat of the inning. It was about an 8-pitch at bat. She drew a 1-out walk against Dreys, and then Sarah Tarr came up with the opposite field double to give the Blackhawks that 2-run lead back. So she's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and that walk.
Just takes first pitch strike.
And just drops that over the head of the shortstop, but benefits of the left fielder playing in right there. Madison Wagner, the left fielder, ends up making that catch about a step or two behind shortstop. And that's what happens when you play shallow. But I like what I saw from Del Toro there. It was more of a check swing. Just tried to drop that over the head of the charging in infield. And unfortunately for Gracie, Madison Wagner was there to make the catch. Sarah Tarr, first pitch swinging, base hit to center. So Sarah's now 3 for 3. And the Blackhawks will have a 2-out base runner here in the 5th for Caitlin Seraphin. Tarr, 2 singles and a double, go along with a couple of RBIs. And now Caitlin Seraphin, she's 1 for 2. She homered back in the first, struck out in the third. It's 4-4 here, bottom of the 5th, 2 away. Blackhawks looking to move to 4-0 here. I say early in the season. It's not really early. First pitch is a fastball called a strike. Not really early, but a lot of rainouts makes it seem early.
Record-wise, and I was also talking to, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Neil Orman. He said this is the first time that they've been able to get out. There's a steal of second base, getting in under the tag as the throw came a little late. He said first time they got to get outside in April. Most of the time they were out in March. As Aaron and I mentioned, there were some really nice 70-degree days, but they didn't have games all the time. So just practices outside, and then for April you're thrown back inside because of rain and snow.
Yep. Count is 0-2 here on Seraphin. Second stolen base of the game for Sarah Tarr. So really complete game for the Blackhawks shortstop. A double, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a run scored, and 2 stolen bases out of their number 3 hitter. Seraphin takes the 0-2 pitch upstairs for a ball, 1-2.
Well, Sarah Tarr, have a day.
Have a day, that's right. Caitlin Seraphin also looking to have a day. She's got a 2-run homer already. Runner at second now with 2 outs. The 1-2. Foul tipped at the plate, stays 1-2. Annika Rivera in the on-deck circle if it gets that far.
Right field normal, but center and left are back a little bit. As Aaron mentioned, this is the home run hitter of the day.
Upstairs, 2-2. Yeah, first home run in that first inning over the left field wall. Pretty well hit, obviously, but cleared the wall. Home run for Seraphin, gave the Blackhawks a 2-1 lead at the time, and she goes down swinging here again, second time today, 6th strikeout of the game for Drays, and that'll do it for West Aurora here in the 5th. We go to the 6th, all tied at 4. Top of the 6th inning, and we got a good one. 4-4 Neuqua Valley and the Blackhawks here, and Brooke Roberts back out there for her 3rd inning of work. She'll face the top of this Neuqua Valley lineup. Wildcats sent 8 batters to the plate in the 5th inning. They scored a couple of runs at 3 hits, left the bases loaded, and they'll send up Casanova, Heitman, and Spellerberg here against Roberts in the 6th.
If you stayed with us in between innings, you saw shortstop and 3rd baseman for the Blackhawks. That's
Sarah Tarr and Bianca Juarez. They were doing a little dance out there
dancing,
on the mound.
yeah. Had some music going on in the background, and now we're all squared away to get this inning underway.
First pitch is a ball downstairs, 1-0 to Casanova, who's 1 for 3, single and a couple of groundouts.
Infield in, awaiting the bunt.
And she's taking that running bunt attempt with basically every pitch. It's 2-0 here. Downstairs, 3-0. Infield still in around the horn. If you're Casanova, you'll probably take a pitch or two here.
Yeah, she showed bunt, but okay, there's a strike. You were definitely going to take that one all day with a 3-0 count.
Trying to get that lead runner on here in the late innings. Inning 6 of 7, 3-1 pitch. And there's a walk. So leadoff, the dreaded leadoff walk, as they say, for the Blackhawks. Down to first goes Casanova. It's the 3rd walk of the game issued by Roberts, the 5th issued by Blackhawks pitching here this afternoon. No strikeouts. 5 walks for West, their pitching staff. It's been a bit of a grind here this afternoon, but they've been able to get through it for the most part. We'll see if they can work around a leadoff walk here in inning 6.
Catcher popped up and ran down that first baseline in order to force the runner back to first. Almost had a rundown situation if they were looking to steal there.
Yeah, Annika Rivera came charging in on the bunt attempt, and Bella Marzullo came in behind the runner at first. Bunted down to the pitcher. The throw over the head of Annika Rivera down the right field line. Hitting 3rd is Casanova. She'll come in to score. Down to 2nd goes Jamie Heitman on the E1. So throwing error leads to the go-ahead run in the 6th, and Neuqua Valley's up 5-4.
Yeah, and it's not just the throwing error on that, Aaron. Take you back to the beginning of this inning. That was that walk that came around to score. So the dreaded leadoff walk, as you mentioned, and as we said before, the only thing you can't defend, walks and home runs, and those come back to bite you.
And Roberts had Heitman at first, just to throw a little bit too high over the head of Rivera, allowing Casanova to come all the way around the base pass. She scored from first. Heitman ends up at 2nd, and it's 1-0 now on Spellerberg. Takes a little off that one. Spellerberg fouls it straight back, 1-1. Spellerberg hit a double to right field last inning, moving Jamie Heitman to third, and then was caught off second base on a single by the next batter. Pitch is upstairs, 2-1. So Blackhawks got 3 innings out of freshman Allie Lambert, making her varsity debut. Gave up a couple of runs in those 3. It's been Brooke Roberts for the last 2+. That one smoked to left. Heads up, that one's going to land foul. Just a loud strike. 2-2. 1-2-3 inning for Brooke Roberts in the 4th. Looked really good. Got 3 ground ball outs, but struggled to put Neuqua Valley down in the 5th inning. Walked a couple, gave up a couple of hits, has walked a batter here in the 6th, and the Wildcats have taken the lead. This one's popped to center. Back on it is Del Toro. Now she comes in, makes the catch, and a good throw in to keep Heitman where she is at second base now with 1 out. Del Toro's been impressive out in center field today.
Yeah, she did a nice job tracking that ball and then circling around it. That's a technique that, you know, it allows you to keep that ball in your sight but come up behind it and be able to throw right away and not have to catch, then think about your throw. So good to get that in. She realized there's a runner on second.
This is Madison Wagner now. She's 2 for 3 with a couple of singles, a couple of runs scored and an RBI her last at bat. So Neuqua Valley leading for the first time since the 1st inning. They were up 1-0. It's now 5-4 here in the 6th. Off-speed pitch, nice pitch, fooled Wagner, and the count's 1-1.
The swing and the pitch were in 2 different time zones on that one, Aaron.
Expecting the express, got the local, as they say. 1-1 is a strike, 1-2. That's a big batter here for Brooke Roberts, trying to get Wagner and keep Heitman at second. Keep this a 1-run game. Try to get that offense going in the 6th and 7th. Swung on in the dirt and throw over to first to retire Wagner on the strikeout 2-3, and then over to third on the ball in the dirt. So it's technically a wild pitch. Over to third goes Heitman, but there are now 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, good awareness by the catcher on that drop third strike to throw down to first, but unfortunately concerned with getting the sure out. You give up and you concede third base, and look out.
Here comes the runner, and there's nobody there, and as the ball gets away from Spenny, in from third comes Heitman on the wild pitch. And you talk about a heady play. Let's talk about Jamie Heitman as she advances from second to third, Mike, on that third strike, and that enables her to score on that wild pitch and give Neuqua Valley the 2-run lead.
Yeah, a little bit of a cushion. That's the biggest cushion Neuqua Valley has had thus far. The bases are cleared now, but the damage has been done.
Line drive into left for a base hit for Waldusky. That's her 3rd single of the game here for Neuqua Valley, and they're still coming. And another pinch runner again. This will be Stephanie Zakruski. Timeout and a mound visit. 6-4, top of the 6th, 2 outs. Blackhawks looking to win their 4th consecutive game, but they're going to have some work to do here in the late innings. They were up 2-1. They were up 4-2. But Neuqua Valley has scored 4 unanswered runs, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, to take a 6-4 lead. New pitching coach. Coach Orman tells me she's a West graduate and knows more about pitching than anybody else on this roster. So I guess that's a good thing. Have your pitching coach know more about pitching than anybody else.
Yeah, apparently he went to high school with her grandfather.
Of course he did. And
then coached her when she was young. So there's a lot of generational work being done there.
Pitch upstairs, 1-0. Yeah, Neil is an institution here at West Aurora. He has coached, worked with, played with, broadcasted for pretty much every generation that has come through West Aurora for the last 40 years. So that's not a surprise. It's 2-0 here on Ashley Pape, and that's not a surprise either. Ashley Pape has been up 3 times. She's walked 3 times. She has a 2-0 count on her right here. swings and misses 2-1. And if you're Ashley, it's like, all right, finally I get to take a cut.
Yeah.
Right? She's been up, we've seen nothing but balls here. First 3 plate appearances, and you know you want to get up there and start swinging. Swings and misses again, 2-2. So the Blackhawks in the 6th will have Rivera, Vargas, and Juarez against, we assume, Drays. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Spenny, 3-2.
Last 2 balls have basically been bowled in there. Those last 2 strikes were the off speed, so Neuqua Valley still having trouble when that pitch is in there, finding the timing.
Here comes the payoff. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and second strikeout of the game, second strikeout of the inning for Brooke Roberts, but Neuqua Valley picks up a couple. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th. Blackhawks trail by 2. Bottom of the 6th, and the Blackhawks are now trailing. Not for the first time today. They were down 1-0 after half an inning, but they scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 1st, take a 2-1 lead. They were up 4-2 after 3. 2 runs in the 5th, 2 runs in the 6th for the Wildcats, and they are up 6-4 here as we are in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blackhawks will have Ionica Rivera, Diana Vargas, and Bianca Juarez against Ava Drays, who's looked really good today. Minus the home run to Seraphin and the double to Tar. She's been pretty solid. She struck out 6, walked 2.
Yeah, one of the loudest and clearest things I heard, one of the first things said in that huddle as the Blackhawks came off the field last inning from the head coach was, "Don't lose confidence."
There's a line drive to right, but right at Spellerberg, who makes the catch. 1 away here in the 6th. Yeah, I heard that as well. Don't lose confidence. Game's not over yet. Still got 5 outs to work with here in the 6th. And this will be Diana Vargas, who's 0 for 2. But Ava Drays has seemingly gotten stronger as the game has gone on here, Mike. She's given up 2 singles in the last 3 1/3 innings.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite of what we were talking about with those quality at-bats and wearing down the starting pitcher. But instead, as you mentioned, she has looked like she has settled down and just kind of locked it in here for these later innings.
Gave up that, pitches down for a ball. She gave up that double to Sarah Tar in the 3rd inning, which gave the Blackhawks the 4-2 lead. But since then, she's pitched 3 innings since that double. 2 singles, 3 strikeouts, no walks. Popped out of play 2-1. So she has gotten stronger as the game has gone on, while Neuqua Valley has put together a couple of solid innings. Actually 1 and 2. I guess that 1-1 pitch was the 0-1 pitch rather was a strike. It looked below the knees, but it is a 1 and 2 here on Vargas.
But you did talk about that expanding strike zone from this umpire.
Hit down the right field line. That thankfully caught a tree, or there was a red truck over there that might have had some difficulty, but it caught a branch on the way over. Yeah, Drays has been throwing smoke all afternoon. It's just fastball after fastball after fastball, and the Blackhawks, with a couple of exceptions, have struggled with it for the most part here today. But they're still in it. Bloop and a blast, as they say, down by 2 here in the 6th. Ground ball to short, fielded nicely by Werner, 2 away. We talk about the Blackhawks defense, and they've made a couple of mistakes here in this one. For the most part, the Blackhawks defenses look pretty sharp. Neuqua Valley's defenses looked really, really good today. They've been basically flawless in the field. 2 away, and Bianca Juarez now. Third baseman, Bianca's 0 for 2.
Seem to be waiting on the umpire here. Officials were over at that Neuqua Valley dugout. Not sure what the discussion was.
First pitch fastball is a strike to Juarez, nothing in 1. Defensively, Blackhawks made a couple of errors here this afternoon. Not just a couple of errors, but also a couple of throwing miscues around the diamond that weren't classified as errors, but it's given Neuqua Valley some extra bases. Neuqua Valley absolutely has not been pristine. They've made a couple of outs on the base paths. The Blackhawks have been heads up there. There's a ground ball to short, and a quick 1-2-3 6th inning for Neuqua Valley and Ava Drays, who is getting better and better as this thing goes on. We go to the 7th. Blackhawks are down 2. Top of the 7th inning, it'll be Clifford, Scardina, and Werner against Brooke Roberts, who's out there for her 4th inning of work. 2 runs in the 5th, 2 runs in the 6th for Neuqua Valley. It's giving the Wildcats a 6-4 lead. First pitch is downstairs to Clifford for a ball, 1-0. Nalia 2 for 3, a couple of singles, a couple of RBIs in her last 2 plate appearances. She has been up. This is the first time all day she hasn't come up with runners on base. She came up with the bases loaded in the 1st and grounded in, or hit into a fielder's choice. She came up with the bases loaded in the 3rd, actually drove in a run, but then the lead runner was on the bases, right? And then in the 5th inning, she came up with 2 runners on base and had an RBI single. So she's had base runners all over the place here this afternoon, and she draws a 4-pitch walk.
She will become one of those base runners.
She certainly will.
Neuqua Valley's last chance to add insurance to their lead for the last wraps in the bottom of the 7th for the Blackhawks.
It's the 4th walk of the game issued for Brooke Roberts. She has a couple of strikeouts. West has walked 6, and it looks like that's going to be it for Roberts. I think Allie Lambert's coming back into the game here in the 7th inning, I think is what we're seeing.
Yeah, we're getting a pitching change.
And I do believe it's Allie back out there, number 25, back on the mound for West, as she'll come back in for the 7th inning. Roberts, 3 innings, 4 hits. She's responsible for the runner at first. She walked 4, struck out 2. One away, top of the 7th, and then I was going to say in the 9th. In the bottom of the 7th, the Blackhawks will have Marzullo, Spenny, and Kiera Hayton, and if anybody reaches Gracie Del Toro. This is Kate Scardina. She's 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts and a walk. First pitch is a ball upstairs to Scardina, 0-1, or 1-0 rather.
With a taller batter like Scardina, may have been a little bit outside too, because you expect that strike zone to expand a little bit. It didn't there, as that was low for ball 2.
The control been a bit of an issue for West pitching here this afternoon. 6 walks in 6+ innings. ball's hit hard out to center and just over the outstretched glove of Gracie Del Toro. That's up against the wall. Scardina's into second. The throw to the plate is cut off, and that's an RBI double for Kate Scardina. And you talked about Neuqua Valley getting an opportunity to add to their lead. They do right here with an RBI double. It's 7-4.
Yeah, really nice effort from the center fielder of the Blackhawks out there. That
Gracie
is
Del Toro.
Gracie Del Toro,
Yeah.
but just not able to catch up to that one as that one makes its way to the wall, and a double clears the bases for an added run.
Only a couple of inches over that outstretched glove of Gracie out in center field, but it turns into an RBI double. Popped up on the infield. Marzullo is there. She'll make the catch, one away. Werner now 0 for 4 out of that number 9 hole. Top of the order here in Nadia Casanova, who I feel like I've said her name 1,000 times here this afternoon. This is her 5th at bat in the 7th inning. She has a single, a walk, a couple of runs scored, a couple of stolen bases. Drops the bunt down, fielded by Juarez. Throw to first, and she's safe over at first. On to third goes Scardina, so another hit for Casanova. And she's been a pest here this afternoon for the Wildcats.
A good job by the infield umpire to hone in on that first base, because he's over on our side here, basically behind shortstop Sarah Tarr, and still was able to judge. There's a fake throwdown, and
She's
that
out.
worked.
Oh yeah, that was pretty. So Casanova steals second. Macy Spenny fakes the throw down to second base, instead throws it to the pitcher, who then throws over to Bianca Juarez, and that's a 2-1-5 caught stealing. You don't see that very often, but that's the third out on the base paths by Neuqua Valley today. So they've scored 7. They've had base runners all over the base paths here today, and the Blackhawks have really given them, or they've given the Blackhawks, as the ball's thrown around the infield here a little bit, as Heitman drops down a bunt single. She advances to second, and Casanova goes over to third.
I'd say controlled chaos here, Aaron, because that play, that the fake throwdown to second, actually caught Neuqua Valley off guard. We mentioned it earlier in the game how Neuqua Valley hadn't taken second base when it was runners on the corners. That was basically a free bag, because then otherwise the runner at third could go home, but they caught themselves there.
Ground ball to Tarr at short. Sarah double clutches. Quick throw over to first to retire Spellerberg and set Neuqua Valley down here in the 7th. They do add to the lead. They tack on one more. Blackhawks need 3 to tie, 4 to win as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th inning, Blackhawks need 3 runs to tie, 4 to win. Blackhawks were up 4-2 after 4 innings, but the last 5 unanswered runs scored by Neuqua Valley here. 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and it could have been a lot worse. Neuqua Valley has stranded 11 base runners in 7 innings. They've had 3 base runners thrown out on the bases, so they have had base runners all over the infield, all over the diamond here this afternoon, and they've put 7 across. The Blackhawks will send up 8-9-1. It's 2-0 to Bella Marzullo. Bella singled. Had a duck snort to right her last time up. She's 1 for 2.
Both of those pitches she held off. They came up high. There's the third one as well.
Yep, Blackhawks need base runners. You got 8-9-1, so you got 4 batters before Tar comes up and 5 before Seraphin. So they are going to need some base runners to get to the meat of that lineup here in the 7th. There's a strike, 3-1.
Aaron, we had looked at it all afternoon as Neuqua Valley stranding base runners and not able to get the job done. Maybe they were looking at it more so of it's only a matter of time until this actually manufactures runs for us, and they knew they had it in them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the Blackhawks have given up 11 hits. They've walked 6. They've made a couple of errors. Fouled back. So Neuqua Valley has had base runners on all afternoon, and this could have been a lot worse if not for some heady defense. So the Blackhawks have made a couple of errors, but they've also had a couple of really nice heads-up defensive plays to retire some Wildcats on the base paths. Now they need 3 here in the 7th as Marzullo stays alive. Good at bat from Bella here out of the number 8 hole. We've seen a couple of these. We had one from Macy Spenny in the 3rd, and Gracie Del Toro with another really good at bat as well. And here Marzullo taking a lot of pitches against Dre's in the 7th. Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. So good at bat to lead off the 7th inning here for the Blackhawks. They get the lead runner on, and the number 9 hitter, Macy Spenny, steps in.
Yeah, down 3 in this game. What you can hope to do is get a couple of runners on, not just that, in scoring position. Chip away at this lead. This is your last opportunity.
And that is not Macy Spenny. That is Kenzie Frous pinch hitting. The senior. Pinch hit here in the 7th inning. Pitches downstairs. I think it's 2-0. They don't have a count up on the scoreboard yet, but I believe it's 2-0 here on Frous.
2-0.
Runner at first is Marzullo. Blackhawks looking for some late inning magic. Here's a strike, 2-1, and it doesn't feel like Dre's has lost anything off that fastball. Maybe a little bit of control she's lost, but she's still bringing the gas here in the 7th. 2-1. Downstairs, 3-1.
Yeah, a couple of those first pitches to that initial batter were up high, now a couple down low, but when she finds that zone, she's on.
Blackhawks looking to get those runners on for Tar and Seraphin here in the 7th. Fastball strike, 3-2.
Talked about that expanding strike zone low, but 3-2 count will bring the expanded strike zone anything close.
And there's another walk. So back-to-back base runners here in the 7th inning, and the tying run will come to the plate in the batter of Kiara Hayton. Kiara's had a rough day. She's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And are we having a pitching change or just a meeting here?
Looks like just a meeting on the mound. I don't see a coach out there, but infield is in to discuss this, and the base runners will head to basically the on-deck circle to talk with the coaches and let their next hitters know what to expect in the box.
Yeah, so Hayton's 0 for 3. She's had a rough afternoon, but really one good at bat here changes all of that if you're Hayton. 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts, one swinging, one looking. She has Marzullo at second, Frous at first, nobody out here in the 7th. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, called a strike, 0-1.
Outfield came well in on that one, actually even touching the dirt, and the infield was ready to pounce on that bunt there. Not even worried about the runners.
Downstairs, 1-1. And again, I don't think she's lost much off the fastball, but the control definitely hasn't been here in the 7th inning like it has been most of the afternoon for Ava Dre's. It's 1-1. And there's a strike foul tipped, I think. Yeah, foul tipped, I think, is the call. So 1-2 now on Hayton. Gracie Del Toro in the on-deck circle, and then Sarah Tar. Ball foul. So unless if the Blackhawks can stay out of a double play, they will at least get the game to Sarah Tar here with a chance to tie it. Hayton's 0 for 3, Del Toro's 0 for 2 with a walk. Sarah Tar's 3 for 3 with a double and a couple of singles. 1-2 fouled back.
Third base and head coach over here letting his runners know that on the ground they gotta go. There's no outs, and it's first and second.
Gotta go.
Infield has to be alert here.
Hit down the left field line, but that'll land out of play and foul. Stays 1-2. Good piece of hitting by Hayton, or good at bat by Kiera here to fight off some tough pitches. That infield coming in now, she might be able to drop that ball over the infield. Fouls it back. She seems to be with 2 strikes. They've pulled that bunt off, letting her swing away here, and that infield is still charging in. That infield still charging in. So if she can get that bat on the ball, and we've seen it before where it's been dropped over the head of the infield, but the outfielders have been there, so we'll see what Kiera can do here on the 1-2. She hits it to left center, and the catch is made out there by Hayton. Almost a snow cone catch out there by the left fielder, Wagner. So Hayton's now 0 for 4, 1 away here in the 7th.
Wagner looked like she overran it just a bit, but with her height, she was able to reach up and still snag that one, keep this not only a lead for her side, but also a really nice out in this final frame here.
This is Gracie Del Toro. She's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Yeah, that height for Wagner out and left really played a part in that, as that's bunted and caught in foul territory by Nalia Clifford for the second out here in inning number 7, and that will give Sarah Tarr a chance to hit here with 2 on, 2 outs, and 2 away here in the 7th inning. Tarr 3 for 3, double, a couple of singles, a couple of stolen bases, and a run scored for the West Aurora Star shortstop.
Quickly goes from no outs to 2 outs, but as you mentioned, their top hitter getting a chance to come to the plate in what she could be the game-tying run here.
And this is, I mean, when you're looking ahead in that final inning, you wanted to give your team a chance by just getting it to Sarah and potentially Caitlin Seraphin here in the 7th, as Macy Spenny comes back in as a pinch runner over at first base for Kenzie Fraus.
We'll get a conference on the mound, so Spenny will run back over to have another conference with her team on the third base side here. Outfield still having struggles with that sun.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I just turned around and looked. I mean, you look at these shadows,
lower.
They are long, headed out directly towards right field. And Sarah, 2 of her 3 hits have been to that side of the field. Her double to right center, and 1 of her singles has gone out to right field. So it really is a problem if you can get the ball high in the air out there in right field. But we'll see what Sarah can do here with Marzullo at second, Spenny at first, 2 away, bottom of the 7th. Blackhawks down 3. First pitch to Tarr is away for a ball. If Sarah reaches, Caitlin Seraphin would get a chance to hit. And we've already seen Caitlin's power here on display this afternoon. There's a ball, 2-0.
Outfield shifted towards right. And
Tarr hits it to right. That'll get down in front of Spellerberger. In from third comes Marzullo. Into third goes Spenny. Down to second on the throw through goes Sarah Tarr. So Sarah now 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and the tying run, Mike, is 100. Well, no, it's gonna say 180 feet away. We're not playing baseball. The tying run is at second base now with Caitlin Seraphin coming to the plate. 7-5, Neuqua Valley with the lead. Caitlin Seraphin is the game-winning run. Blocked in the dirt, it gets through, trying to score. No, getting back. Now Tarr is caught off a second, and Sarah has to scamper back into second.
We had a little bit of controlled chaos in the top half of the 7th, and now starting to have that in the bottom half as the runners have to be alert. Their coach was just saying, you got to be looking at me ready to go or ready to hold up here. 2 outs, though, you're pretty much going on anything. There is no force from a runner on first, though. It's just second and third.
2-0 to Seraphin, now 2-1 as she fouls it off the plate. So Sarah homered in the first. She is struck out in the 3rd and 5th. She is the game-winning run. Macy Spenny at 3rd, Sarah Tarr at 2nd. Up upstairs, 3-1. So hitters count, and you have to wonder how much Neuqua Valley is being very careful with Seraphin here, as with first base open, and the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Oh no, called a strike.
It was a late call, but I think she knew it was in there. Umpire may have gone off of her reaction.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th, the pitch from Fraus popped up on the infield. Heitman is there, and she makes the catch, and that will do it. So Neuqua Valley hangs on for the 7-5 victory. The Blackhawks pick up a run, a hit. They strand a couple of runners in that 7th inning, and they drop this one by the final score of 7-5. Ava Drees went the distance, and Mike, a little bit shaky in that 7th inning, but those middle innings, she really shut down the Blackhawks while giving her offense a chance to break through, and break through they did with 5 runs in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So for the Blackhawks, it's their first loss of the year. They dropped this one 7-5, and there, you got your first outdoor West Aurora game in the books.
Absolutely. It was an exciting 7th inning to cap off an exciting game as a whole, as you mentioned. A little bit shaky in that 7th, but they get the job done on the road. Neuqua Valley coming away with the win, and the Blackhawks, a really nice outing, though. They have something to hang their hats on here and get back to some outdoor sports as the weather gets nicer here in April.
Outdoor sports is a good thing. So we're off next week. We'll be back the following week, so keep an eye on you get some information from West Aurora. If you want to know what games we're going to be calling, they'll be able to tell you. We'll have some information for you on the Stream Sports Midwest YouTube page as well. So for Mike Napolitano, my name's Aaron Shellen, and Blackhawks drop their first game of the year. They lose to Neuqua Valley by the score of 7-5.